Hi, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about 10 Finnish things that I have in my home. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and this video could be really long, but I've made this part one, and I'm going to show you 10 things that I have that many Finnish people have in their homes. I think these are all things that I've grown up with, and I want to show them to you right now. Also, I have a playlist for various categories that you can check out. I have playlists on essential oils, DIY projects, product reviews, and you'll find this video and the part 2 that I'll be putting up in the playlist titled Finland. So if you end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up, because then I'll know that I'll make part 2 and maybe even part 3 for this. So I'm just going to go through these items, kind of show them to you briefly, just give you a little bit of an outline. And if you're interested in more information about any of the things that I show you or talk about, then leave me a comment and I'll look into making another video about it if you show me that you're interested. So a little bit of background. I moved from Helsinki, Finland. So Finland is called Suomi in Finnish. And I moved when I was 6 years old with my family, my mom and dad and my sister. We moved to Canada, to British Columbia, and we lived in the Vancouver Lower Mainland area. And basically I've lived here all my life. My family moved back to Helsinki. I stayed in Canada. I had more brothers and sisters. At this point, my grandparents on both my mom and dad's side have passed away. So I'm kind of the oldest in the family. So I've accumulated these things through my grandparents, my mom and dad, even my aunts and uncles. So they've been in my family at some point, and some things that you'll see are items that we buy on a regular basis, and we used to have these in our home all the time growing up. So here we go. The first part will be more kitchen items, and then I'll go into some other things, okay? So the first thing I'm going to show you is this guy. This is something we grew up with all the time in the house, and it's a butter knife. It's made out of a very soft wood, and I remember having these all the time growing up since I was a little kid, and apparently they use them in Finland too. So they make them out of very soft wood, and if you think about bamboo, that's what it seems like to me. So I had to actually Google this because I'm not sure what this is made out of. So it looks like they could be made from anything from juniper. It says juniper butter knives, maybe even birch, which is a common tree in Finland. Most of the butter knives that I see online are made from juniper wood. So I'm not 100% sure what this is, but I know that we use this. This was always in the butter dish when we were putting butter on our rye bread, which is the next thing I'm going to show you. So I was lucky enough to find a bakery here that has a traditional Finnish rye bread recipe. And I'm going to keep it in the plastic here because I have this in my freezer. I buy several of these at a time and put them in my freezer. And this rye bread has a hole in the middle because rye is a sturdier grain that holds up to mold and mildew. And when food was scarce, they discovered that making bread, sourdough bread, sour type of a rye bread out of rye was able to be kept for a lot longer periods. And the reason that this hole is in the middle of the rye bread is because they used to hang it in the rafters. They'd put a pole through it and be hanging in the ceilings. That's what I've learned anyways. But rye bread is not like a soft, fluffy bread. You need to have a good teeth to eat into it and bite into it. And it's a Finnish tradition. It's the food of Finland. You have to have rye bread, and I think every Finn loves rye bread, or ruisleipä, as we call it. So the next thing I'm going to show you is this. It looks like a cast iron frying pan, except it has these small little indented areas, and this is what we would make our lettuja in. Lettuja are Finnish pancakes, or some people call them Finnish crepes. So it's a very thin batter, and we would pour the batter into these little round areas on the cast iron frying pan and fry them up and eat them like that. And we would usually have them with jam and some kind of like strawberry or berry preserves and whipped cream, because when I was growing up in Finland and then when we moved to Canada, we didn't have maple syrup. I didn't know what maple syrup was. So it was with berries and whipped cream. We'd have our letut, which are the Finnish crepes or pancakes, and sometimes I guess you could call them silver dollars, but they were just a cute, perfect size. And I've actually finally learned how to veganize them. So I made some the other day, and it was so good because it just brought back so many memories. This is not from my family. My sister actually found it in a yard sale, and don't know where it's from, but it's exactly what we used to use at home growing up. All right, the next thing, this one's a big one. It's called Arabia. Arabia is a company that's been around. I had to look it up too, and I'm just having a peek at my laptop. 1873, a Swedish person named Rostrand, and I probably didn't pronounce that at all well, constructed a Finnish factory in a part of Helsinki that was called Arabia. And that's where he started this company, and it has evolved into a company that makes beautiful pots and dishes and things like that. And this one is, I think this was my grandmother's, and it's a heavy enamel or cast iron stoneware dish, and we would make Karjalan paisti in this. Finland is really known for cooking their pork and meat, and Karjalan paisti is a type of pork stew, but not really a stew, but the pork would be slow cooked so that it was just falling apart in a gravy, and you'd have that with little new potatoes or mashed potatoes. And that's what I remember my grandmother cooking in this, was Karjalan paisti. And Karjala is an area of Finland which used to be ruled by Russia. Finland is a small country that was always in a battle by being overtaken either by Sweden or Russia. So it was always fighting for independence, and it was always battling Russia and Sweden. So there's a lot of intermixing, and especially of Swedish heritage in Finland. So this is from Arabia, a well-known old factory, kitchenware, and I'm sure they make other things, company in Helsinki. So another food item is hapankorppuja. This is just the same, similar to crisp bread or rye bread or wasa bread that you can buy in most grocery stores. And it's on the same lines as my ruisleipä, the rye bread, but this is like a cracker form. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's just a very thin rye, crispy type cracker. And you can buy these in the store. This one I ordered from a company that ships from Finland. So I haven't actually seen this brand in the local stores, like the Swedish brands that you can see, and Fincrisp, but this one is from Finland, and it's hapankorppuja. I can't even say the company name, Oululainen, but these are good too. The Finns usually have them with a slice of cheese and maybe some cucumber or tomatoes on top. Okay, this one is really near and dear to my heart because this was my mother's, probably her first cookbook. This is very old, very loved, very used. Keittoäidin kultainen kirja. So this means kitchen mom's golden book. That's my translation of it. And my mom used to, this is like the Julia Child cookbook. It's like it's got everything from A to Z in cooking in here. And I remember my mom using it, and then when I learned to bake, this is very splattered with batter, because I remember looking in here and figuring out how to make cake recipes and making cake from here when I was just a little girl. So this is a really old book, and it's dated, I it's taped together. I just have to look after this so well because, oh, the page that has the copyright date is gone. There is a date here, it says 1966, so it's at least from 1966. I think I'm finished the kitchen portion of this, so I'm going to go on to the next thing, which is, this is a frame, and recently the glass broke from it, but this was, I think my dad made this in school when they had classes, like we had home ec and woodwork and metalwork, and I think this frame was made by him. So I'm going to see if I can get a piece of glass for this, but otherwise we used to have, we have pictures of, you know, old pictures in these. But this frame, it's sentimental because we've had it since I was a baby. I've had it forever, so I'm sad that the glass broke out of it. The next thing I have is a piece of crocheted lace. This is something that I remember my grandmother and my mom doing. They would crochet with the finest cotton and make bedspreads or lace things. I want to call them doilies. Well, they made a lot of doilies too, but they made these things and they put them over the bed to, I guess, decorate them and make them look pretty. This is starting to get very kind of tinged with yellow and aged looking. I've tried to keep it safe and in a sealed container. So I'm not sure if this is from my mom or my grandmother, but one of them crocheted this. This is something else that I've had forever, and this is very old. This is a sheet from my dad's mom, so my grandmother. And why I find it so precious is this border here has been crocheted by her, and it was done when she was a young, probably a teenager, and she also has her maiden name initials embroidered in here. Her name was Aune, and her last name before she got married was Bark. So she had a Swedish dad, and it's a Swedish name. So Aune Bark, and that's hers. So my grandmother's, when she was very young, before she got married, she crocheted and embroidered this sheet, and I still have it, and I don't use it, and I keep it in a sealed bag. Alright, so this is the last thing I have, and this is it's either from my grandmother on my mom's side or my mom's sister. But this is, Kalevala. This is what I would call, I haven't read it, it honestly doesn't interest me, but it's a mythological tales of Finland. And let me see who wrote this. This is written by, I think the person's name is Jouko Tolvanen. Okay, the only date I can find in here is 1890. I'm not sure if that was the copyright date when it was written, like the book. I mean, obviously it's old stories, and it looks like runot, which sounds like poems to me. And the pictures in here are quite interesting. So this was passed down to us, and I'm just going to keep it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, then I'll know you liked it, and I'll do a second part. I've got lots more Finnish things that have been in my family and that are hidden all over the house that I have to collect. But I will be happy to make another video with some more Finnish things, and if you want to know anything about a particular topic or item here, just leave me a comment and I'll be happy to make a video on it. So I hope you have a great week coming up and stay healthy. Bye.